Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. SLOs of this lesson are: identify and differentiate between a sentence, clause and a phrase. Identify and differentiate between main and subordinate clauses. Clauses, phrases and sentence. I hope you are familiar with this because we have also discussed it in your previous classes too. What is a phrase here? Let's discuss it. A phrase is a group of related words that does not have a subject doing the action of a verb. A phrase is a group of words which doesn't convey the full meaning, but it is a part of a sentence. Sometimes it don't have a subject, the action of a verb, but it has a part in a sentence. There are several different types of phrases here. We have 5 types of phrases here. Let's discuss the noun phrase first. What is a noun phrase? A phrase built around a single noun. Noun names a person, place, thing or idea. A sentence in which we have a noun phrase, a phrase which contains a noun, it calls a noun phrase here. Look at this one. A vase of roses stood on the table. Here a vase of roses here is a noun phrase here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 words in this phrase. And a vase is a noun here. Look at the second one. She was reading a book about the problems of women. Here in this phrase we have noun, a book. A book here. This is a noun phrase here. The underlined words are the noun phrase here. We have the noun, a book here. Now look at the second one, verb phrase. A verb phrase that is the verbal part of clause. Verb means action or situation or being something. Like she had been living in London. Had been living is a verb phrase here. We cannot only underline the living here because it will be only one word. We have to underline the whole phrase here. Had been living is a whole verb phrase here. This is an action here. She is living in the London. Now look at the second one. I will be going to college next year. Here going is an action, so from I to going is a verbal phrase here. Look at the third phrase, adjective phrase. We have discussed this. Adjective, describe the noun, its color, size, smell, opinion about a noun. A phrase built around an adjective. That type of phrase in which we have an adjective, like he had a very interesting life. Here the interesting is an adjective here, and the whole phrase is underlined for you. Very interesting life is an adjective phrase here. Look at the second example of it. A lot of the kids really enjoy football. Here a lot of kids is an adjective here. Here this is the number of adjective. Adjective of number here. A lot of the kids here is an adjective phrase here. Now look at the fourth phrase, adverbial phrase. A phrase built around an adverb by adding words before and or after it. An adverbial phrase tells you when, how, why, where the action is taking place. So the economy recovered very slowly. How the economy recovered? Very slowly. The action is done very slowly. So we have an adverbial phrase here. Look at the second example of it. They wanted to leave the country as fast as possible. How they wanted to leave the country? As fast as possible. Yes. Now look at the fifth one, prepositional phrase. Here we discuss the preposition. Prepositions shows the direction of nouns and the relationship between nouns and pronouns. A phrase where a preposition come at the beginning. She got a prize for the best story. Here for the best prize underlined for you, and for is a preposition here. So this is your prepositional phrase. It's telling you that she got a prize for the best story. Look at the second example of it. The dog was hiding under the kitchen. It's showing the direction of a noun here. The dog, that it's under the kitchen table. So we have a prepositional phrase here. Let's discuss what is clause here. A clause is a collecting of words with a subject that is doing the action of a verb. Clause is also called a short simple sentence which have a subject, verb and object. Subject, verb and object. The doer of the action and the on which the action is done. For example, we have two types of clause, independent and dependent clause. Let's discuss what is an independent clause here. An independent clause can stand by itself and be a complete sentence. An independent clause always gives you the full meaning, the full idea. It's not depend on anything else, on more words or any other sentence. It has a full meaning and it is complete in its own way. For example, I like young people. It doesn't need any other sentence to support it or any other word. The lunch was too big for me. This is an independent clause. Now look at here a dependent clause. A dependent clause has a subject doing the action of a verb, but it cannot make a complete sentence by itself. The first one was independent. It can stand by itself and have a complete meaning or sentence. But this one cannot complete by itself. It begins with a conjunction and need another clause to complete its meaning. Dependent clauses often begin with such word as before, after, while, during, when, because, or if. These are the conjunctions here. These. We have discussed this in our lesson of parts of speech. Conjunction which join the two sentences together. It can come in the start of the sentence or can add it in the middle of the sentence to make or to join the two sentences together. The sentences which are relating to each other. For example, because she smiled at him when everybody left the room after he went to school. These are the type of sentences you might want to complete it. Because it doesn't give you full meaning. Because she smiled at him. You want to know then what happened, why she smiled. And the second one, whenever and everybody left the room, then you might be curious, okay, what happened next when everybody left the room? After he went to school, you will say, yes, what happened when he went to school? You might be waiting for the other sentence or the other words to complete the sentence because it's not the complete meaning or sentence here. Look at the example here. As I told you earlier, incomplete thought, incomplete sentence here. We have subject I and told verb here. The meeting has been postponed. This is a complete sentence. It has a subject and verb, and as here the conjunction. Look at this one. As I told you earlier, the meeting has been postponed. As is a conjunction here, and we edit comma here. We add comma to take a short pause before another clause. So this one is your independent clause. It has a full meaning, complete thought, but it is dependent clause. This dependent clause depend on this one here. This one cannot be completed without this sentence here. It will always need the support of any other sentence, any independent clause which have the complete thought. Let me give you some other examples too. When he reached home, he went to sleep. It might be possible that you don't have any conjunction here. The comma can work for a short pause here. When reached home, here we have conjunction here, when, but it might be possible in some sentences that you don't have any conjunction. When he reached home, he went to sleep. Here the when reached home is an independent clause. You might be asking, okay, what happened when he reached home, what he did next? He went to sleep here. He went to sleep is a independent clause here. And when he reached is a dependent clause here.